About 3% of our population has an abnormal heart rate or an arrhythmia. Now that 3% doesn't mean that they're in vital danger, but it can be serious. Over a lifetime, a heart is going to beat about 2.5 billion times, or about 100,000 times a day, and it's going to move about 2,000 gallons of blood through your body every day. So your heart is incredibly important because it's going to move blood to your vital organs like your mind and your lungs and everything else. So doctors have created a defibrillator, something they can use as a life-saving device for somebody's heart. And what that thing does is you've seen the shock paddles in movies, I'm sure. It shocks you, or it shocks your heart, and it creates and restores the rhythm that the heart was created for. Your heart rate has a certain rhythm that it was created for, but sometimes there's abnormalities. So you have to shock that. And medical professionals say that it's like getting kicked by the mule in your chest. So it's not an easy thing to go through. Now that's great for the heart that we have in our bodies. But what about the heart of our soul? Our souls have a heart that regulates our mind, will, and emotions, that moves a flow towards our vital organs, our purpose, and our passion. What do we do then to shock that? Because according to Gallup and Harris polls, 70 to 80% of the people have an abnormal heart rate of their soul, which means they're unhappy in their lives. They're unhappy with their jobs, their spouses, their communities, their churches. Now, what most people do, instead of getting a little shock therapy for their mind to restore their mind's natural rhythm, because your mind has a rhythm too, and it's just gotten off kilter, but instead of doing that, we want to change spouses, change jobs, change communities, change churches, because that's easier. The problem is, we're the problem, and it goes with us into our next spouse, next career, next community, next church. So how do we do it then? How do we find a defibrillator for our souls? Well, I happened across it by accident in the military in boot camp. They were called drill instructors. And these guys were shock therapy for us because we came in as civilians. I'd lived my life for 17 years as a civilian. Well, civilian way of life doesn't work for the military. And the way to get you in an 8-week, 10-week, 12-week, whatever it happens to be, into military rhythm is a little shock therapy. They shock our minds to restore a natural rhythm of the military. So what do we do in civilian life? Since we don't have drill instructors around us yelling at us, you've got to find an accountability coach. They're above a mentor in this regard, where they're like a drill instructor, and they're there to shock you into a natural rhythm for your spouse, for your career, for your community, or for your church. Instead of just leaving it, it's a little shock therapy. We desperately need these men and women in our lives. You must find your own drill instructors, because at times, you're going to need a defibrillator, and those are the men and women who will shock you or kick you in the chest like you've been hit by a mule to get you into the right rhythm in life. My name is Ed Carcari. I'd love to connect with you. You can find me at edcarcari.com. Find your passion. Find your life.